Somewhere around 7 in the morning, one of the most powerful people on earth wakes up to the sound of one of his 3 daughters. And within seconds, before his feet even touch the floor, he is already at war with his own phone. This is not a metaphor. It is how Mark Zuckerberg, the co-founder and CEO of Meta, has described his own mornings, in his own words, on more than one occasion. The first thing he does, by his own admission, is check his phone. Not for pleasure, for damage control. In an interview with Joe Rogan, Zuckerberg described the feeling directly. "You get a million messages of stuff that come in," he said. "And it's usually not good, because people reserve the good stuff to tell him in person. It's almost like you wake up and you're punched in the stomach." Think about that phrase for a moment. One of the wealthiest men in the world, running a company reaching close to 3 billion people, opens his eyes each morning to what he himself calls a punch in the stomach. And his response to that punch is not caffeine. It's violence, structured, controlled, and completely voluntary. Zuckerberg told comedian Theo on a recent podcast exactly what happens next. "I wake up and I fight people," he said. For roughly 2 hours every single morning, Zuckerberg trains in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts, sparring with actual fighters, doing striking work he describes as neurologically stimulating. He has said this practice works better than caffeine for him. In fact, when asked directly if he drinks coffee, his answer was blunt. He doesn't like any kind of chemicals like that. This isn't a recent hobby. Zuckerberg picked up jiu-jitsu during the pandemic, and by 2023 the transformation was significant enough that the New York Times described him as, in their words, completely shredded. He has said he used to run for exercise, but stopped, because running gave his mind too much room to keep spiraling on the exact stress he was trying to escape. Fighting, by contrast, demands total presence. You cannot think about a product launch while someone is actively trying to submit you. After training, Zuckerberg refuels with a level of intake that sounds almost engineered. He has stated his daily target sits around 4,000 calories, spread across his meals, fueling both the physical training and the long workdays ahead. Then comes the part of his routine that has become, strangely, one of the most recognized personal brands in Silicon Valley. He gets dressed, and what he puts on almost never changes. Jeans, sneakers, and a plain gray t-shirt day after day for years. Zuckerberg has explained this choice in terms borrowed almost directly from cognitive science. Every small decision you make in a day draws down a limited pool of mental energy, and he would rather spend that energy on decisions that actually matter for the company and the people who depend on it than on which shirt to wear. From there, the day shifts into something far less personal and far more structured. By most accounts, Zuckerberg dedicates somewhere between 50 and 60 hours a week to Meta, with roughly 6 to 7 hours of that time each day going toward focused, high-stakes work, product strategy, engineering direction, and the endless stream of decisions that come with running a company operating at the scale of a small civilization. He has also spoken about protecting his sleep with the same discipline he applies to his workouts. He avoids screens close to bedtime, keeps a consistent schedule, and aims for around 8 hours of sleep a night, a habit he's described directly to Forbes, adding simply that he doesn't stay up late. What emerges from all of this isn't really a story about a billionaire's morning schedule. It's a story about a very specific philosophy of control. Every visible choice, the fixed wake time, the 2 hours of controlled physical conflict instead of caffeine, the identical outfit worn on repeat, the protected sleep window, exists to remove friction from everything that doesn't matter, so there's enough left over for the decisions that do. The 19-year-old who once got hauled in front of Harvard's disciplinary board now runs a routine engineered with almost military precision. He still wakes up to the same punch in the stomach every single morning. The only thing that's changed is what he built to absorb the impact.